Hello, everybody. How are you, ladies and gentlemen, and all our wonderful business people at home? How are you guys doing? Welcome to our show, Kopi Talk with Bosses, and tonight another session with one of our guest speaker, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Samson Z. Welcome down, and just to let you know, this show is brought to you already sponsored by our sponsors. We have, of course, Rock On Consulting and Summit Planners. Okay, so if you're a business owner, this show is for you. If you're planning to be one business owner, you need to see this show today. Okay, so before we start, ladies and gentlemen, just let you know, stay on with us as long as you can because you stand a chance to win a coffee session, one-to-one session, of course, with our bosses at Atlas. So be sure to join us and don't go away. Okay, so let's dive down right now, ladies and gentlemen. Our guest is right here waiting to tell you everything about your success. So right now, let's introduce, ladies and gentlemen, our guest speaker for today, Mr. Alan Lim, VP from IFPAS. How are you doing today, sir?
Good.
Doing
Thank
good?
you.
Okay,
Thank
very
you.
good.
Hi, Simon. How are you?
Okay, very good.
Okay, good.
So first of all, Alan, tell us a bit more about yourself.
Okay, I'm a financial advisor. I'm a licensed financial advisor in Singapore. I've been in the business since 1998. All right.
Wow, it's very
I only
long,
do one
isn't
thing.
it?
I only serve the business owner market. So business owner is you can say it's in my blood.
Serving is the key.
Yeah,
The greatest
correct.
among you is your servant, your service.
Correct.
And?
You're right. Okay, good. So on the other hand, also in my voluntary capacity, I serve as the EXCO member as well as the vice president of IFPAS. All right. IFPAS stands for Insurance and Financial Practitioner of Singapore. So it is an association that started since 1969, the year I'm born. We represent actually the financial practitioner in Singapore, life insurance-based financial practitioner. All right. In terms of industrial representation, and in my portfolio, I also oversee their standards, their education, and their knowledge standards in this part of the world. Right.
Wow. I remember IFPAS, I had a chance to be among some of the agents, or I would say planners, financial planners and consultants in a sports event. So it was really fun having all the different agencies together, coming
Correct.
together. Yeah.
Correct.
Like how we do right now, people coming together to get some tips from the
Correct.
bosses.
Yes, true.
Okay, so let's dive right down into some of the tips and that we'd like to share for today. Now, understanding when we have a business, there are many risks. People always look at profits, but people forget there's many risk factors involved when you're setting up a business.
Oh, yes.
So tell us a bit more about some of the risks that business owners probably face or going to face when they open up a company.
Yes, okay, good. Maybe perhaps I just retract a little bit. What do we mean by business owner in Singapore? And I promise Simon that we're going to have some fun today, all right? So I believe there are three categories of a person inside a business. It's very important to identify you are in the business. Number one, we have a businessman who are doing the business by choice. That means that you actually set up your own business and then you run your businesses. It could be import, export, it can be construction and whatsoever, all right? The second group of business owner, actually, they are by accident. Some of these people, because they can't work with other people, so no choice, they have to set up their own business to make a living. All right, these are businessmen, but by accident. The third group of a businessman, interestingly, you might not realize it yourself. These are the group of people that don't even know they are business. They are so-called the sleeping partners or the sleeping shareholders of a business. All right. So these three categories are important because, like it or not, whether you are a businessman by choice, you're a businessman by accident, or you are the sleeping partner of a business, you do get yourself exposed into certain of the business risks, which in turn will also impact into your personal asset that's more important. All right. Okay?
So what are the risk factors that people or business owners might face?
There are many, but I just highlight the three main ones. Number one, you are in a business, of course, there are business risks. We need to say that the economy is going against you. Just today, I just read the papers. There is one very famous restaurant, Ministry of Food, run into trouble. As a result of COVID-19, perhaps, And in recent time, we also found out that there is one business owner. I think he runs a few shops that allow people to put consignment of Singapore brand of clothing into the business to run, and then the business closed shop as a result of COVID-19. They run into cash flow problem. These are business risks. Now, as a financial advisor, we are very concerned that will these risks ultimately impact your finances? That's number one. The other thing is financial risk. It is very important, especially for those who are sleeping partner of a business. Because sometimes as a shareholder or director of a business, when business borrow money from the bank, typically the bank will ask you for personal guarantor. What it means is that your personal asset will be exposed to the financial risk if your business fail, and the bank pull back the loans, and you don't have the sufficient cash flow to pay back, and then the bank has got every legal rights to go after your personal assets to claim back the money. Right?
Examples of personal asset can be a HDB house or property
yes.
or something like that.
There are three fundamental assets in Singapore that is creditor cannot touch. HDB is one, all right. CPF is another one, and the other one is trust nominated life insurance policy. Later I will touch on that part of it. All right. So all other assets is actually claimable by the banks, which includes a simple thing you might not realize when your Rolex watch. All right. Wow. But these are some of the situations, and if you are owning private property, just be careful. A private property does not have asset protection, so if you run into a serious problem in terms of cash flow, your private property might get impacted. All right, good. All right. So that's second risk. And then the third risk, I also wanted to highlight that it is very important, but not many people pay attention to it, or people do not want to pay attention to it, which is effects of death. Now, death of tomorrow, which one comes first? No one knows. Right? So as a business owner, also we are human, and then we can pass away. Or sometimes we can lose our mental capacity. So it is important for us to have a business succession plan to ensure the amount of capital that we pump into the business, at least we get it back. Not for us to enjoy because we pass away, but at least for our family members to have a fair returns of whatever capital has been pumped into the business. I also wanted to mention that as a business owner, you take on business risk. Yes. Sometimes you might go into a financial issue, but it is quite unfair for your family to go down financially with you. That's where asset protection is very important for business owner or businessman.
Okay. A lot of people actually don't know this.
Oh, yes.
A lot of people don't know this. Okay. So although we have all the risks, of course, there are some strategies to overcome it as well. So before I talk about the strategies, or rather before he talks about the strategies, if you just join us, a very good evening, everybody. Welcome down, business owners and business owners to be. This is the show for you, Kopi Talk with Bosses, where we bring in all the guest speakers from various companies, various industries here to share some tips. Very, very important tips, okay? So once again, brought to you by our sponsors, Rock On Consulting and also Summit Planners. So right now, let's come to the most important part, the strategy to overcome all these risks or to protect yourself, asset protection and all that. Tell us a bit more.
Okay, good. I think one of the very most simplistic way of protecting assets on your own personal asset is actually is top up your CPF. Now, CPF, our Central Provident Fund by law, is actually protected from business creditors. Not only business creditors, all sorts of creditors. All right. So it's important to take advantage of the law, and then you frequently top up your CPF, your ordinary account, special account. Moreover, it gives very good interest rate. Almost risk-free interest rate, guaranteed by the government. 2.5% for ordinary account, 4% for special account, not too bad, as well as the MediSave account. Now, one of the, based on our research, we noticed that business owners are one of the category of Singaporean that don't really regularly top up their CPF, because one of the issues is that when you put money into CPF, you can't take it out.
That's a fear everybody have, right?
so it involves a very planning. And sometimes it's good to engage a professional financial advisor to help you to run through the processes, all right? Work out the budget and follow through some very simplistic financial plan. That's strategy number one.
Strategy number one, okay.
Strategy number two have to do with property. Now, in Singapore's situation, as I mentioned just now, the HDB flats can be creditor protected. Therefore, technically, it is wise for the business owner that you retain your HDB flat. But on the other hand, I also understand that typical Singaporeans, or there's nothing wrong in that, we aspire to give a better life for our family. So usually we own a HDB flat and then we aspire to have a private condominium, even landed property when business are doing well. There's nothing wrong with that. There's perfectly nothing wrong with that. But I just want to highlight the fact that sometimes if it is possible, all right, don't be too quick to sell off your HDB flat. Maybe you purchase a second property if you could, satisfy all the necessary HDB rules and whatever. Purchase a second one, all right? Because at the end of the day, if your business run into issues, having a property over our head is a roof over our head is very important. As I mentioned, as a man, I speak for the man. As a man, maybe we can go down in terms of financial risk together with the business because that's a business risk that we take. But it is really unfair for the woman of the house, for our family members, to go down together with us. Right? So with proper planning, at least the family members, at least our wife, all right, can be protected, has some form of asset to have some form of a dignified life of their own. Right? So that's very important. That's on the HDB side. All right?
So remember, folks, very very important. Okay, you might have passion to run your business, but you need to know what happens during the downfall. You know, whether will you fall down together with the business, and will still people who are clinging on you, people who need your help, people who need your support are also falling down together with you. So that's why we need to get advice from the professionals.
Correct.
Okay. One more point?
I resonate what Simon has mentioned because behind a businessman, a man, let's assume he's a man, a businessman. Like for instance, myself, for instance, Simon. I was just asking Simon how many kids he has. So behind Simon, Simon is a businessman. Right? He's sitting in front of me. Right? Simon is also a father of 4 children. Simon is also a loving husband. Like for myself, I got no children. I'm a businessman myself. I run my own business, a financial planning business. I'm also a husband to my wife, Linda. And therefore, when business no good, I think we need to have sufficient capital, income, liquidity for us, for me to discharge my duty as a husband, and also discharge my duty as a son to my elderly mother. All right. So the family members should not be linked to our business risk. That's one of the main thing. And I'll bring to the third point. Third point of asset protection for business owner, very important in Singapore, is life insurance policy. Now you might be surprised about why do I highlight in life insurance policy? Because in Singapore situation, you're able to actually make a trust nomination on life insurance policy, right? Meaning to say that under the law, I still remember it's Section 4 of the Section 49L of the Insurance Act. He actually talks about, the policy proceed and the cash value of the life insurance policy is not subjected to the policy owner's debts. All right, and that's very important in terms of asset protection for business owner. All right, and because a life insurance policy pays out the sum assured when death unfortunately happens or sometimes cancer and things like that. A huge capital is being paid out. Sometimes it's important for this huge capital that's paid out that is creditor protected. You can't enjoy it, but actually it's for your family, for your children. All right. So in the Singapore situation, particularly the beneficiary that qualified to be a trust nomination is actually the spouse and the children. All right. So some of the business owner might ask, hey, Alan, then what about my mother? What about my siblings? What happens if I'm not married, I'm a single man? So how do I do asset protection? I'm a business owner. Then I shall come to the next point. You can set up an asset protection trust. Meaning to say when times are good, you transfer some asset or you use a trust to own some of your financial assets. All right? It can be property, it can be life insurance policy, it can even be bank account. All right? That means you transfer this ownership of your asset into a trust. All right? And let's give a scenario if certain business risks happen to the business, your business unfortunately get collapsed and you owe large amount of money to the bank in your legal capacity as a guarantor. At least the assets under the trust is being protected away from business creditor risk. All right, but there's a little caveat here. You can't do this, you can't set up a trust if you face a risk immediately, you can't. There's a 5-year rule, meaning to say that you need to set up this one all right, more than 5 years.
Earlier
you can't. There's a reason for that. In fact, Singapore legal system, and there's nothing wrong in that, our business law, actually, we favors the creditors. You might say that, hey, Alan, is there anything wrong? There's nothing wrong in that. I just highlight to you. The business law has to favor the creditor. Otherwise, we will find that people borrow money and don't want to return, and then the whole economy can collapse.
True.
Alright.
True.
So there's nothing wrong being having the business the business law favoring the creditors. So there is this particular rule talk about the 5 years. All right. That means you can set up a trust and then own certain assets, and let it cross more than 5 years. And then you can set up, you can name the beneficiary like your mother, your parents, your siblings, and maybe your cohabit partners if you're not legally married, but two of you like you want to stay together like a husband and wife, but not legally married. All right, for this such a situation. All right. Okay.
Interesting. That's why I hear a lot of people setting up trust fund, and I'm not really sure why they do that. But now I know the reason, because
One
one
of
of
the
the asset
reason.
protection. One of the reason,
I think
asset
one of the-
protection in
asset
case something
protection.
happens.
Yes.
So today's topic, as we mentioned, is more about as a businessman, your personal
Yes.
self. In fact, the last two sessions we had was asset protection for your business. It was a different entity, but it was for business as well. And Stephen Chu came by, and he also
Yes.
mentioned how important it is to have your business protected, insured in such a way there's a fire, whatever, not so that if anything happens to you or your business, your family still gets the share of
Yes,
whatever
correct.
the money. So it's very, very important.
Correct.
We have two guest speakers coming on board to share with you how important it is to have your asset protected as well.
Yes.
Very important.
Yes. And then come to the last point. Last point about business succession, meaning to say the effects of death, loss of mental capacity, or you get into a cancer situation. It is important that to have a business succession plan, to have an agreement set up. Why do I say that? Usually in Singapore situation, if you run a private limited company, the value of your business depending on you're around.
Oh, yes, it's true. Exactly.
If you're not around, you cannot assume that the business valuation is the same as what you perceive it to be, because you're not around. You see.
True.
All right. So therefore, it's important at least to protect that particular capital that you already put into the business. Let's for example, you say 500,000 or 100,000 or even 1 million. All right. You have a business succession agreement with your shareholders or with your partner, with your business partner. All right. With an agreed trigger event, which is death, disability, or loss of mental capacity, example. All right. And with a agreed valuation of the business, agreed valuation between both parties. And we typically uses a life insurance policy as a funding vehicle, right, to provide the money in case one party passes away, the surviving business owner has got sufficient funds, all right, to pay off the deceased shareholders. Correct.
And the cost as well,
Ah,
whatever
yes,
is necessary.
correct,
A lot of
correct.
costs involved as well,
Yes,
right?
correct. So therefore, the deceased business owner, or as a business owner, at least you can tell your family members that if I'm not around, at least the capital that I put into the business actually goes back to the family. Because we're in Singapore, I'm very passionate about this planning for business owner, because Singapore is a very expensive place. In fact, Singapore is a very expensive place to do business. Very common that business owner runs into cash flow problems throughout in the business life cycle. All right, and sometimes the person that actually lends you the capital actually is your family members. I dare say sometimes it's a woman of the house, the wife or the mother. So therefore, sometimes it is important to think through that, that if suddenly death takes you away, at least the capital that you put inside return back to your estate. And you make provision and return back to that particular person who has helped you, who has helped you in there. All right? That's only right as a man, as a business owner, that we don't just only, it's important to make money. We don't just always take. I think what defines us in life is we give back, we return back. Because we can't take that away into our graves. That's a
Very
part.
true.
That's a part of it.
You can sense how passionate Mr. Alan Lim is, the VP of IFPAS. I mean, we can go on and on and on, but we'd like to keep that
Yes.
in mind, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to keep the more of the meaty session later on for session 2.
Yeah,
Okay.
correct.
So for tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're
yeah.
going to keep this just like that,
Yeah,
so that
correct.
you can come back more and listen
Yes.
to more Alan. Okay. So of course, we got to end our show very soon. But Mr. Alan, any last and final tips for all our viewers, our business owners? Final
Okay,
tip?
for business owner, let me give you my deepest respect. Any economy, Singapore or otherwise, you guys, the business owner, forms a fundamental pillar of Singapore. In fact, without you, business owner, I don't think Singapore will be what it is today. So I respect all of you. All right. I hope some of the points that I shared can add value to you and your family. all right, do approach a professional financial advisor who is preferably a EPAS member.
So how
They will
can
serve you.
how can we get some, like, say, how they can contact you or your agents or maybe your
Okay,
consultants?
log on to EPAS website lah.
Okay,
Look for us.
IPA's
Okay.
website,
Okay, good.
and then you can always ask some inquiries from
Yes,
somewhere.
correct. From there.
Okay.
Okay.
So with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to end our wonderful show. We'd like to extend it longer, but we like to keep it in bite size. And of
Yeah,
course,
correct.
you want more of Alan to come back again, just type it inside. Any questions you have, you can type it, because we're going to have a replay of our live session
yes,
as well, where we
correct.
have more people watching it later
Yes.
on. Yeah, Alan, so not to
Okay,
worry.
good.
So let's cheers, or rather, let's have a nice coffee session just to your
Cheers,
success, to all
cheers,
the
yes.
businessmen, to your success. And
Cheers.
hopefully our
Okay.
business economy will increase
Yes.
with all this education in place for you. Okay,
Certainly.
so it's been a great pleasure to have our VP of IFAS, Mr. Alan Lim, with us right here.
correct. Alright.
And my name's Samson, or Simon for short as well, because I'm also known as Simon everywhere else. So thank you for joining us, everybody. Hope to see you again in our next Kopi Talk, brought to you by Rock On Consulting and Summit Planners.
Yes.
Once again, this is Alan Lim, everybody, our VP from IFAS.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers.
To your success.
To your success.